What is up, skate rats? So, decided to throw the warm-up in first. Kind of stoked about the switch flip. It wasn't good, but they never were. But it's been some months since I've done one. The fakie flip, definitely not stoked on, but I obliterated my shoelace that I keep playing with now. But I threw in the military laces, so we're all good. The main part of today's video, though, is about 50-50s. So frontside 50-50, when I first learned them, I would land into like a front nose grind and slap the back truck down. And that's why I had to learn nollie back 180 out and nollie shove out, which I learned long before I was able to just ride out of them. Because I had so much weight on the nose and I was in a nollie position every time. I wasn't able to like get to the tail of the board for like a year or two after learning them. And I finally just became proficient enough that I was able to ollie and get my feet positioned however I want. So we're going to be doing that with backside 50-50 today. I've been more recently watching a guy and noticing that that's what he does on every backside 50-50. He locks a crook pretty much and slaps it down instantly. So we're going to be trying that. We're going to be doing it on the 8-inch ledge. Let's get to it, and then we'll talk a little bit about my personal life. So it did work out, and it is a lot easier. It is a little inconsistent whether I can ollie out or if I have to do something nollie out, but hey, it works, and it's probably the best they've ever felt. So I can kind of add that to the bag of tricks. I don't have to front shove if I want to do a back 50-50 or slappy. So that kind of feels nice. But skating is now done. So we're going to jump into personal life really quick because my wife just phoned. She needs me, so I do need to get back in the house in a couple of minutes. So, Freya is actually a rainbow baby. I recently just learned what that term was, which means miracle baby. Many moons ago, about 10 years ago, my wife and I went through 3 miscarriages, which is very sad, but it was a long time ago. And then I went through a surgery that had like a 65 to 70% chance I went sterile. I tried to find out years later through some testing. I kind of got screwed by the insurance a bit, and I never got to actually get like that definitive answer of yes, you are, or no, you're not. So we tried for about 5 years straight, and I was looking back into foster care and stuff like that because we still had our clearances and things from our foster kids before. So when she got pregnant, it was a major surprise. So Freya definitely is a bit of a miracle, and even more so after going through kind of what we went through in the hospital. Now, it takes a lot to freak me out or make me paranoid or scared or anything like that. Like, to be completely honest, I struggle with empathy. So, like, I haven't cried in 8 years. But my wife was going through some pretty traumatic stuff in the hospital. So I kind of had to be there for her, more of a solid rock than being empathetic. So what specifically happened is they came in to give her epidural, which is pretty much a big needle they stick in your back, and then they can insert drugs through an IV through it. And if you go in too deep, you end up in the wrong place, and it turns from an epidural to what they call a spinal, which is more so used for numbing the entire body. So they stuck the needle in. My wife is supposed to guide them and tell them what she's feeling, and she told them exactly what they would need to know that they were in too deep. But the anesthesiologist shrugged it off and was like, I know what I'm doing, don't tell me how to do my job, even though that's the first safeguard not to become a spinal. The next safeguard is they do a test shot of fentanyl. And this is just supposed to make the patient, in this case my wife, tingle a little bit, and they can say, okay, I feel tingling in my shoulders, meaning that you're in the wrong nerve endings, you're in the wrong place, rather than just in the lower half. Well, the anesthesiologist shot her with like a triple dose, and her entire body went numb instantly. And of course, that was a very sickening feeling to her, like kind of like seasick. So she instantly started vomiting. They went to roll her over, not really like necessarily knowing 100% that her whole body was numb. She says that she told them as she was kind of falling, But they rolled her over and she kind of started to choke a little bit. And the second issue was the fentanyl needle was still in her back. So when they flipped her over, whatever was left in that needle drained into her back as well, and it started to shut her lungs down and she couldn't breathe. So thankfully they were able to get things sorted and situated, and by the time I seen her again, she's now on an oxygen mask. The nurse is cleaning up her face from throwing up. So that was kind of scary. We finally get to the next day, and they talked to her about a C-section, about it being possible. That they weren't going to say she needed one just yet, but it's possible. They go over the risks, they go over the benefits of that. They leave the room. By the time that door slams shut, Freya, her heart just starts plummeting. The heart monitor starts crashing. And by that time that door closes, the door was reopened. I thankfully had already dressed in my scrubs and we were on our way to surgery. So it was only about 12 minutes before we had the conversation about C-section until pretty much I was holding Freya. But thankfully she's here, she is healthy, my wife is recovering. Obviously she has a long road ahead with them doing a C-section. But that's kind of what's going on in my life right now. So I'm going to play a couple of clips from the hospital of baby Freya. I hope you guys did like this video. And as always, thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. Have a great day, guys, and keep pushing forward.
She won't be there very long.
I'm so funny because I'm stuffy, baby.
You can come closer.